You step inside, the doors slide shut, you press a number, and a small room lifts you 10 stories without a sound. No ropes in sight, no shaking floor, no sense of strain. It feels a little like magic, but it is not. It is a careful balance of weight, friction, and a handful of clever safety devices that have quietly carried billions of people. Let us slice the elevator open and watch how it actually works. Lifting people is hard work. A loaded car can weigh several thousand pounds, and gravity wants every bit of it back on the ground. If a single motor had to haul that full weight upward on its own, it would need to be enormous. And it would burn power on every trip up and waste it again coming down. So elevators do not fight gravity head-on. They outsmart it. The first trick is to stop lifting the whole load at all. Hidden in the shaft, riding beside the car, hangs a heavy block called the counterweight. It weighs about as much as the empty car plus 40% of a full load. The two are linked together, so as the car rises, the counterweight falls, and as the car drops, the counterweight climbs back up. Like two children balanced on a seesaw, most of the weight cancels out. The motor only has to nudge the small difference between the two sides. That link is a set of steel cables, called hoisting ropes, looped over a grooved wheel at the top of the shaft. The wheel is the sheave. The motor does not wind the ropes up like a fishing reel. Instead, the ropes simply lie in the grooves, and friction grips them tightly. When the sheave turns one way, the ropes drag the car up and the counterweight down. This gripping action is called traction, and almost every tall building relies on it. Turning the sheave is the job of the hoisting machine, a strong electric motor parked above the shaft or tucked in a small room beside it. Older elevators used gears to trade speed for raw force. Modern ones often skip the gears entirely, driving the sheave directly with a powerful, finely controlled motor. Because the counterweight already does most of the lifting, this motor can be surprisingly modest. It sips power, and on the way down it can even feed some back. Look closely at those cables, and you will count not one rope, but several, running side by side. This is on purpose. Each individual rope is already strong enough to hold the entire car and everyone standing in it. Working together, they carry the real load with an enormous margin to spare. They are inspected often and replaced long before they show real wear. So the old movie fear of a single snapping cable is, in a real elevator, almost impossible. But engineers plan for the impossible anyway. Spinning quietly off to one side is a device called the governor. A small separate rope loops around it and rides along with the car, so the governor always knows exactly how fast the car is traveling. As long as the speed stays normal, it does nothing at all. But if the car ever begins to move faster than it safely should, the governor feels that overspeed instantly and acts. It is the system's watchdog. When the governor trips, it yanks a linkage on the car that drives the safeties into action. These are hardened steel wedges mounted on the car frame. They snap outward and bite into the guide rails, gripping harder the faster the car tries to move. Friction does the rest, dragging the car to a firm, controlled stop. It is a brake that needs no electricity and no command from a computer. Speed alone triggers it, and gravity itself powers it. Those rails do far more than catch the safeties. Two vertical steel tracks run the full height of the shaft, one on each side of the car. Small guides on the car frame ride along them like a train held to its tracks. They keep the car from swaying, twisting, or scraping the walls as it climbs and descends. They also give the safeties something solid to grab. Without the rails, that smooth, straight ride would wobble into something far less pleasant. All of this is conducted by the controller, the elevator's brain. It reads your button press, decides the most efficient order of stops, and tells the motor exactly when to speed up and when to slow down. Sensors watch the car's position constantly as it moves. As you approach your floor, the controller eases the motor back so the car settles level with the hallway, often within a fraction of an inch. That gentle, precise stop is not luck. It is computed. At the very bottom of the shaft sits the last line of defense, the buffers. These are heavy springs or oil-filled pistons planted in the pit beneath the car. In the rare event a car reached the bottom carrying too much speed, the buffer would compress and absorb the energy, cushioning the landing instead of letting it crash. The counterweight has one too. They almost never get used in their entire lifetime, and that is exactly the point. They simply wait. So here is the whole ride, start to finish. The counterweight balances most of the load, the hoisting machine turns the sheave, and friction lets the ropes haul the car along its guide rails. Several cables share the weight with room to spare. The governor watches the speed, the safeties wedge into the rails if it climbs too high, and the buffers wait quietly at the bottom. The controller ties it all together, easing you to a level, silent stop. A box, a weight, and a loop of steel rope, balanced so carefully that you forget it is even working at all. Every trip is millions of small calculations layered over a century of hard-won safety, all hidden inside one calm little room. Step in again tomorrow, press your floor, and just listen for a moment. The quiet is the whole achievement. This has been The Cutaway. We will see you inside the next machine.